For 1,000 years, they ruled the stars. The Varnak were not just an alien species, they were a nightmare written into the sky. 12 feet tall, black-scaled, with long claws that could cut through steel and golden eyes that glowed in the dark. They never spoke in peace. They only roared in war. When their ships appeared over a planet, no one fought back. Most surrendered. The few that resisted were erased in seconds. The galaxy whispered their name like a curse. One day, inside a dark command chamber floating above the burned world of Corellan 9, a Varnak war general stood still. A new signal had come in. It was weak, broken, and old. But it came from a system long forgotten. It came from Earth. Origin, Sol 3, said the Varnak technician, his voice low and confused. The general turned slowly, his 4 eyes narrowing. Sol 3, that dust rock still exists. The technician nodded. It's strange. The signal was hidden inside a dead satellite. But it's broadcasting now. A human voice. They played the signal. It was short. Just 6 words. They're coming. We warned you. A deep silence filled the room. Then the general laughed, a low, growling sound that echoed like thunder. Humans. They were wiped out centuries ago. Maybe not, whispered another soldier. The general slammed his clawed fist on the table. Send a scout ship. I want to see what's left of these creatures. The stars outside blinked as a dark Varnak vessel launched into hyperspace. 2 days later, the scout ship reached the edge of the solar system. What they saw shocked them. Earth was still there, green and blue, spinning silently in the dark, but around it floated thousands of satellites. Some looked broken. Others glowed softly. There was no response to hails. No military ships. No movement at all. The scout leader, a younger Varnak named Skerinal, frowned. This looks abandoned. But why is there a signal? Asked his second-in-command. Skerinal narrowed his eyes. Something's wrong. Scan the area. The scanners picked up nothing. No weapons, no heat. No threats. And then the ship's lights flickered. Power drop. Shouted the pilot. The ship shook, even though nothing had touched it. One by one, the system shut down. Then a voice filled the ship, the same voice from the signal. We warned you. The crew screamed as the walls bent inward. A pulse of invisible energy hit them, and then darkness. Back on the Varnak capital world, the general stared at the empty chair in front of him. The scout ship never returned. No signal, no wreckage. Just silence, he growled. Send a battle cruiser. I want a full scan. And bring back a human, if any exist. Within hours, a massive Varnak warship was on its way to Earth. Captain Gorak stood on the deck of the Varnak cruiser, watching Earth grow larger through the glass. It looks alive, said his science officer. Looks can lie, Gorak replied. Humans were weak, emotional, full of fear. They descended toward Mars first, hoping to use it as a base. They didn't know humans had left something behind. The ship landed near Olympus Mons. The air was thin, the dust red, and everything seemed quiet, until they found the drone. It was small, just a silver orb, hovering in silence. Then it flew straight at them and exploded. But it wasn't a bomb. It released something invisible. Something ancient. Not a weapon, a message. Suddenly, every Varnak in the landing crew saw the same images in their minds. Humans running into gunfire. Humans crying over graves. Humans refusing to die, even when everything was lost. What ... is this? Gorak gasped, grabbing his head. They're showing us their history, whispered a soldier. The final image was of a single human, standing alone against a giant alien beast, sword in hand, eyes burning with fire. And then the human said something. We are coming. They returned to the ship shaken. Gorak couldn't sleep. The crew grew restless. Some started whispering about fear, about death. Varnak did not fear. They were the fear, or so they thought. They captured a human 2 days later. It was on Earth's moon, in a small base the Varnock almost missed. The human sat calmly in the center of the room as the Varnock soldiers broke down the door. He didn't run. He didn't speak. He just raised his hands and smiled, now in the holding cell. Of the cruiser, the general came to meet him. The human was young, maybe 25, thin, pale, with short hair and calm eyes. The general growled. "Name?" The human tilted his head. "You can call me Daniel. Why are you not afraid?" Daniel smiled wider. "Because you made the first move. Now it's our turn." The general slammed his claw into the wall behind him. "You are alone. Your planet is weak." Daniel leaned forward, voice steady. "You don't know us. You don't know pain. You don't know what it's like to lose everything and keep fighting. You've ruled the stars for 1,000 years. But no one ever challenged you, did they?" The general was silent. Daniel's voice dropped to a whisper. "You made the mistake of waking us up." On the way back to Varnock Prime, the cruiser detected something strange behind them. A ship, then 2, then 10. Human ships, but they looked different, sleek, sharp, bright. Like lightning, they didn't match any known design. The cruiser sent a message. No response. Then one of the human ships vanished and reappeared right next to the Varnock. Cruiser. Too close. Before the Varnock could fire, the human ship released a pulse. Not an explosion, a signal. The Varnock ship's eye shut down. Lights died. Weapons locked. And then every screen lit up. It was Daniel's face. "Still think we're weak?" The Varnock general stared at the screen in horror. Daniel smiled. "We're not the same humans you remember. We learned. We adapted, and now," he leaned closer to the camera, "we're coming for your king." The galaxy shook as the message spread. The most feared species, the Varnock, had been caught. Their ship captured, their general humiliated. And the humans? The ones thought long dead? They were back, and the monsters who ruled the stars weren't ready for them. The sky above Mars was quiet. The Varnock warship, Bloodclaw, floated above the red planet like a giant black shadow. Its hull glowed faintly in the sunlight. Below, machines began to land, drilling into the surface, scanning for signs of life. General Scarzell stood on the observation deck, his arms crossed. His gold eyes narrowed as he stared at the dusty world. "No resistance," he growled. "No response." His second in command, a younger Varnock named Telrock, stepped forward. "Maybe humans are hiding." Scarzell let out a low chuckle. "That's what prey does." But something felt wrong. Too quiet. Too easy. "Send a probe across the surface," Scarzell ordered. "If there's life, we'll find it." Minutes later, a silver probe flew low across the Martian plains. It scanned the surface. Nothing. Rocks, wind, dust. And then something moved, picking up a structure, Telrock said. "Buried under the sand, very old. Investigate." The probe hovered over the shape, a metal dome half covered in rust and stone. The door opened automatically as the probe got close. Inside was darkness. A small red light blinked. "Wait," said Telrock suddenly. "There's a signal." Everyone turned toward the screen. A message began to play. A human voice, slow and calm. "If you found this, you are not welcome." Suddenly the red light flashed bright. The probe exploded in silence. The Varnock crew jumped. Was that a weapon? Scarzell barked. "No," Telrock whispered. "Something else." "What did it release?" They stared at the screen. It was now playing images. Human images, wars, fire, floods, screams, starvation. Cities falling. Planets dying. And then people rising. Humans crawling from ashes. Building again. Smiling through tears. Fighting through pain. Soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder, facing monsters bigger than them. People who should have died, but didn't. It wasn't a warning. It was a message. We survive. Scarzell stepped back. Shut it off, but the images kept playing. The screen cracked. Sparks flew. We can't stop it, an engineer shouted. It's in the system. One Varnak dropped to his knees. Their pain. It's inside my mind. Others held their heads, growling in fear. It wasn't just a video. It was mental, some kind of psychological weapon. Scarzell slammed the emergency button. Cut all power. The ship went dark. Silence. Then something hit the ship. Not a missile. A small object. A drone. The size of a football. It floated outside the window. No weapons. No sound. Scarzell stepped toward the glass. What now? The drone blinked once, then exploded. Again, not with fire, but with data. Holograms filled the air. Thousands of human faces. Children, old men, warriors, scientists, artists. They all looked at the Varnak. No fear. Just one shared expression. Anger. And then, a single word. Why? Scarzell roared, slashing through the holograms. This is not war. This is madness. Taurak spoke quietly. General, they're not attacking with weapons. They're attacking our minds, Scarzell growled. Find a human, alive. I want answers. An hour later, they found one, hidden in an old Mars research dome. A human sat alone. She was not what they expected. Old, female, dressed in simple clothes. No weapons. No fear. The Varnak soldiers surrounded her, claws raised. She looked up from her seat and smiled. Took you long enough. Scarzell walked forward. You will answer, now. She raised an eyebrow. You first. Why are you here? We rule the stars. Earth belongs to us. She laughed. It was soft, tired, but dangerous. Earth belongs to no one, especially not monsters like you. Scarzell snapped. You are weak. Your species is broken. She stood slowly, her hands behind her back. We were broken, long ago. Then we rebuilt. Again and again. What happens when something breaks too many times? He didn't answer. She leaned forward. It becomes unbreakable. Scarzell's claws twitched. I should kill you, he said. Try, she whispered. And in that moment, something happened. The ships. Lights flickered again. Alarm sounded. Unknown ships incoming. Shouted a soldier. Scarzell turned. How many? 10. No, 20. 50. The radar showed fast-moving objects. Too fast. Human ships, but not like any they had seen. Sleek, sharp, silent. Then they stopped. Just outside the Varnak. Range. Scarzell activated the comms. This is General Scarzell of the Varnak Empire. Identify yourselves. Static. Then a voice, male, calm. You made first contact. That was your first mistake. Scarzell froze. You're not authorized to speak. The voice replied, we don't need authorization to survive. Scarzell opened fire. Missiles launched. Lasers burned across space, but the human ships vanished, reappeared behind them. We've seen your tactics before, the voice said. We learned from you. You ruled with fear. We live with pain. You don't scare us. One human ship rammed into the Varnak cruiser's side, but instead of exploding, it attached a boarding signal. They're coming in, screamed a Varnak. Scarzell turned back to the woman. What do they want? She stepped forward. What? We always wanted a chance, a voice, a place in the stars. Scarzell growled. You'll get silence. He raised his claws to strike her down, but something caught his arm. A human, small, armored, holding his wrist with one gloved hand. Scarzell's eyes widened. How? The human pulled his arm aside, easily. I thought you were bigger. The soldier said. Scarzell roared and attacked. But the human ducked, punched him in the chest, and Skarsgård flew across the room, smashing into the wall. The human turned to the old woman. "Ma'am, we're secure." She nodded. "Thank you, Commander." He saluted her and tapped his helmet. "Control, Mars Dome secure. Enemy down. Awaiting further orders." The woman walked slowly towards Skarsgård. He coughed, trying to stand. "You tricked us," he hissed. "No." She said, "We warned you. You came anyway." Skarsgård's eyes shook. "You ... We're supposed to be extinct." She looked out the window, where dozens of human ships now circled Mars. "We were. Then we came back, stronger. And now we're done hiding." Skarsgård whispered, "What are you?" She smiled. "We are human. And we're just getting started." Far above, in a secret command center orbiting Jupiter, another human officer watched everything from a screen. A Varnock prisoner stood next. To him, forced to watch the feed. "You thought you could erase us," the human said. "But every time someone tried, we became something worse." The Varnock stared in silence. The human tapped the screen. "You met the old Earth once. The peaceful one. The dreaming one." He turned, eyes cold. "Now meet the Earth you created." Across the galaxy, as news spread, one truth became clear. Varnock made the first move. They made the first mistake. And now ... humanity had returned. The Varnock warcruiser Oblivion Spear floated like a dark claw across the edge of the solar system. It carried scars from the Mars incident, deep marks across its hull, missing panels, and flickering lights. But it also carried something far more dangerous than damage. A human captured alive. General Korthek stood before the sealed cell. Behind the thick energy wall, the human sat calmly on a steel bench. He was young, thin, hair short and dark, hands chained but relaxed. Eyes watching everything. And he was smiling. Korthak hated that smile. The general turned to his advisor. "He should be trembling, begging. Where's the fear?" "He hasn't said a word since capture," the advisor answered. "No resistance, no questions, no fear." Korthak stepped closer to the cell. "Open the barrier." "Sir, do." "It." The energy field dropped with a soft hum. Korthak walked inside. The human didn't move. He kept his eyes on the floor but kept smiling. It was calm. Almost amused, Korthak growled. "You are our prisoner. Speak." "Nothing." Korthak circled him. "You came alone. You were hiding. Yet you smile. Why?" Finally, the human looked up. "Because," he said softly, "I know what happens next." His voice was smooth. No fear, no anger, just peace. Korthak narrowed his eyes. "What is your name?" The human tilted his head. "Names are just noise. You want truth." Korthak slammed a claw into the wall. "Give me truth then." The human nodded. "All right. Truth, you've already lost." Korthak froze. "What did you say?" "You think capturing one of us is a victory, but it's a signal, a message. You made contact. And now the response is coming." Korthak grabbed the human by the collar, lifting him off the bench. "You are alone." The human didn't blink. "That's what you see. Not what is." He smiled wider. "You don't understand humans, General. You never did." Korthak dropped him with a snarl. "Explain." The human sat again, chains clinking. "You thought we were gone, wiped out. You forgot we don't die easy. You thought fear would crush us. But fear built us. Pain taught us. War changed us. You should have left us sleeping." Korthak paced in frustration. "Where is your fleet? Where are your leaders?" The human shrugged. "Everywhere, nowhere. We don't need fleets to destroy empires." Suddenly, the ship lights flickered. The alarm buzzed once, then stopped. Korthak turned sharply. "What now?" The intercom crackled. "Bridge to General. There's a signal." "From where?" "Inside the ship." Korthik's blood went cold. Trace it. No origin point. It's broadcasting from everywhere. Same message repeating. Play it, Korthik ordered. A human voice echoed through the speakers. You took one of us. Now we'll take everything. The message looped again. The lights dimmed further. Systems blinked. Then another voice, not recorded. Live. Hello, General. Korthik's heart stopped. It was the prisoner's voice, but he was sitting right in front of him. Still chained. Still smiling, Korthik turned slowly. The human raised his eyebrows. Surprised? How? How are you speaking on the ship's systems? The human shrugged. You thought you took a soldier. You took something else. Who are you? The human leaned forward, chains rattling. I am what you made us into. Behind Korthik, the door slammed shut. The lights died. Only red backup lights remained, casting shadows on the prisoner's face. Korthik rushed to the door panel. Dead dot, he turned. What have you done? Nothing yet, said the human. But it's starting. The ship shook, not from outside. From within, internal explosions reported. Someone shouted through the cum. Engineering deck is offline. Fire in weapons bay. Korthik roared. How? There's no one else. The prisoner stood slowly. You searched me, scanned me. You missed the real weapon. Korthik stepped back. You brought something on board? No, the human said. I am the weapon. His smile faded. His eyes hardened. Not a bomb, not poison, memory. Korthik stared. What does that mean? The prisoner stepped forward. I carry everything we lived through, stored in my mind, our history, our pain, our victories. And I've already linked it to your systems. Your crew is seeing it now, all of it. They're learning what real fear is. The intercom screamed. Sir, soldiers are panicking. Some are attacking each other. Others just collapsed. The human's voice echoed inside the cell again. We learned long ago, pain can destroy, but memory can control. Korthik lunged. The prisoner didn't resist. They crashed to the ground, but as Korthik raised his claw to end it, he saw something in the human's eyes. Pity. I warned you, the human whispered. The ship's power surged. The walls shook violently. Sparks flew from the ceiling, then silence. All lights turned blue. A new voice spoke through the ship. A different human voice. Control re-established. Varnock ship systems overridden. Command bridge locked. Life support stabilized. Korthik stood up, stunned. What? What is this? The prisoner straightened his shirt. You took one human. He looked directly at the general. But you brought in all of us. Above the cruiser, invisible to Varnock scanners, a small human stealth ship uncloaked. Inside, a team of operators sat calmly, watching screens. One spoke into a headset. Subject has activated core link. Data spread is 92% complete. Another replied. Varnock crew is destabilized. Mental cracks forming. Chain of command is falling apart. A third smiled. Time to bring him home. Back in the cell, Korthik stared in silence as more systems failed. Doors opened. Human music played softly through the speakers. The sound of children laughing followed. The prisoner looked around. It's funny. You spent centuries trying to rule the stars. We just wanted to survive. Korthik whispered. Why not destroy us? The human looked sad. Because that's what you would do. He turned toward the door as it opened. Two human soldiers in black armor stood there, weapons ready but lowered. We got you, one said. The prisoner stepped past the stunned general. I'll leave you with something. Korthik raised his head weakly. The prisoner pointed to his own heart. Every human carries fire. We don't show it often. But when it burns, no empire survives. The team vanished into the hallway. Seconds later, they teleported out. The Oblivion Spear was left drifting, powerless, leaderless. haunted by the humans' memories, playing on loop across every screen. The most powerful warship in the Varnock fleet had become a ghost. All because of one human. One prisoner who smiled. The stars above Saturn were peaceful, still, empty. But deep beneath that silence, something was moving. A massive Varnock invasion fleet waited behind Saturn's shadow. 20 warships, bristling with weapons, shields glowing faintly, ready to strike. The Varnock believed Earth was weak, slow, broken. But recent events had shaken that belief. One of their best ships, Oblivion Spear, had gone dark. No survivors. No data. Just silence. Now they wanted answers. And if Earth had dared to strike first, they would burn the planet to ash. General Vexer stood on the bridge of the lead ship. His black armor reflected the blue light from Saturn's rings. "Scan Earth again," he ordered. A younger Varnock responded quickly. Still no large fleet detected. Minimal orbital defense. "Only minor energy signals," Vexer growled. "They hide well." "They're afraid," said another soldier. Vexer didn't speak. He didn't trust what he saw. The humans had sent a message, not with words, but with action. They had taken down Oblivion Spear with one man. No empire could ignore that. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. The radar screens lit up with red flashes. Ships were appearing fast. Too fast. "Unknown signals detected," the officer shouted. "They're jumping in, near Titan." "How many?" Vexer demanded. The officer stared in disbelief. "Hundreds." The space around Saturn tore, open in blue flashes of light. One by one, human ships dropped out of warp. Small, sharp, built for speed, not size. But they moved like nothing the Varnock had seen before. "They're surrounding us." The Varnock fleet repositioned, forming a defensive wall. "Ready all weapons," Vexer shouted. "They will learn who rules this galaxy." Then the human fleet spoke. A single voice came through every Varnock channel. "Calm, controlled. This is the Earth Defense Initiative. You invaded our system. This is your first and only warning." Vexer snarled. Fire. Varnock missiles launched. Beams of burning plasma shot across space. But the human ships vanished before the weapons reached them. "Where did they go?" screamed a pilot. The officer paused, eyes wide. "They're behind us." The human ships had blinked, disappearing from one place and reappearing behind the Varnock line in seconds. No engine trails, no heat. Just pure, silent movement. Vexer turned. Before he could speak, his ship shook violently. The rear deck exploded. Fire rushed through the hallway. Screams echoed on the comms. Internal breach. "They're boarding us." In space, Earth's fleet moved like water, flowing around Varnock ships, slicing through their defenses, disabling without destroying. Inside one of the human cruisers, Commander Rhea Vos stood in front of her crew. "Keep them alive," she said. "We're not here for revenge. We're here to finish the game they started." Her ship, the Eclipse, was one of Earth's finest. Silent engine tech, adaptive armor, and living AI systems. Years of hiding and surviving had pushed human science far beyond the old days. Now Earth was ready to fight, ready to lead. "Target command ship," Rhea said. "Get me Vexer." Back on the Varnock flagship, Vexer roared as fire fell. Around him, "This is impossible." His guards fell one by one, shot with non-lethal stun rounds. The humans weren't killing. They were disabling, intentionally. Then Rhea appeared on the screen. She wore dark battle armor, a pale blue light glowing across her shoulder pads. Her eyes were calm but sharp. "General Vexer," she said, "stand down. Your fleet is finished." "You dare," she interrupted. "You attacked a world that didn't provoke you. You hunted us across stars. You made first contact through fire, and now you cry because the flame turned back. You're a child race." He barked. Rhea stared into the screen. Then what does that make you? Who lost to us? Vexer's jaw tightened. She leaned closer to the camera. We don't want war, but we don't fear it anymore, he hissed. You won't hold us, we'll return. No, she said, you won't. Within 10 minutes, the battle was over. The human fleet disabled 18 of the 20 Varnock ships. The last 2 fled, jumping into deep space. Earth let them go, as messengers, back on Earth. The sky above the planet shimmered with the glow of human ships returning. Citizens stood in cities and outposts, looking up. For the first time in generations, they were no longer afraid. They had seen what Earth had become. They had seen Earth unleashed. In a dark chamber on Earth's surface, leaders from different human factions stood around a glowing table. Rhea Voss entered the room. The room went silent. A tall man stepped forward. The system is safe? Yes, she replied. We now control the edge of the solar belt, another asked. And the prisoners? Being treated fairly, we'll question them. But we will not become like them. They all nodded. One elder leaned forward. We were born from ashes, but now the stars are ours. Rhea nodded. The galaxy watched today. Let them remember, humanity is not prey. Another voice from the back spoke. What if they come back in greater numbers? Rhea looked toward the sky. Then they'll meet a different Earth. Far away, on a neutral space station, alien diplomats from other species watched the battle reports. One, a tall silver-skinned being named Theskar, turned to the others. This was not expected, he said. No, replied another. We all thought Earth was broken. A third alien, shaking slightly, whispered. They were. Until the Varnock woke them. Theskar tapped the hologram of Earth. This changes everything. Yes, said another. The galaxy has new rules now. In a dark corridor of a Varnock outpost light years away, a frightened soldier whispered to his commander, Sir ... What do we do now? The commander stared at a screen showing Earth's fleet, now patrolling space like silent guardians. He spoke without looking away. We run. The war was far from over. The Varnock fleet had been beaten back, but they were not defeated. Their pride was broken, and their anger burned hotter than ever. Yet what frightened them most was not the fleets or the weapons. It was a girl. Outskirts of a shattered human colony, in the ruins of what once was a thriving city, a small figure ran faster than any Varnock soldier could believe. Her name was Lila. She was 12 years old, with dark hair tied tight, eyes sharp and steady, and legs fitted with metal prosthetics. They didn't slow her down. They made her faster. Lila's family was lost in the first wave of the war, but she survived. More than survived, she thrived. Faster, Lila, her mentor said, running beside her. Lila smiled, her metal legs pounding the cracked earth beneath them. I'm not slow. You're faster than any Varnock scout, her mentor said. And that's why they fear you. Lila stopped, breathing hard. Why? Because you're the weapon they never saw coming. Far away, on a Varnock warship orbiting the ruined colony, General Korthek stared at the screen. The image showed a young girl, running alone through the rubble. She's just a child, he said bitterly. The intelligence officer shook his head. No, sir, she is a symbol. We have reports of many like her. Humans who lost limbs but gained something else. Tell me more. Their technology lets them move faster. Their bodies are stronger. They adapt. They don't fear pain. And they fight with a will no weapon can break. Korthek slammed his claw on the table. Prepare a strike team. Capture her alive. Lila didn't know what waited for her. She only knew the Varnock were hunting. She moved through the ruins silently, eyes scanning every shadow. She had a small energy blade, not much against a Varnock, but enough to defend herself. Suddenly, she heard the heavy footsteps. 3 Varnock soldiers appeared. She ran. They chased, claws tearing the air. But Lila was faster. She ducked behind a fallen wall and looked back. The Varnock slowed. One growled. She's fast, but no match for us. Leela smiled again. She pressed a button on her wrist. The metal legs hummed louder. She sprinted out, faster than before. The Varnock snarled and lunged out. Leela leaped high, swinging her blade in a wide arc. It sliced the first soldier's leg metal. He roared in pain. The others charged. Leela dashed between them, dodging claws and fire. One grabbed her arm, but she twisted and kicked him hard in the chest. He fell back. Then she heard a voice behind her. "Stop!" She turned. A human soldier, tall and calm, with a rifle raised but lowered. "Leela, get out of here." She hesitated. "I'm not leaving." He shook his head. "You're a symbol. They want you alive." Back on the warship, Korthik watched. "She's a problem," he muttered. "But the humans have many like her." "We are developing countermeasures," the officer assured him. Korthik smiled darkly. "Make it fast, before they become legends." Days later, Leela was brought to a hidden human base. There, she met others like her, soldiers who lost limbs, yet fought harder than before. A community that transformed pain into power. Her mentor told her, "This is the true weapon. Not a gun or ship, but the spirit." Leela trained harder than ever. Running, fighting, hacking Varnock tech. She learned to control her prosthetics perfectly. Faster than any soldier, stronger than most machines. Meanwhile, the Varnock prepared a new assault. Their scientists developed devices to disrupt the humans' prosthetics, making them slow and weak. But the humans adapted quickly. One day, a Varnock scientist sneered, "These humans are cheating." Another replied, "They're not cheating, they're evolving." During a major battle near a mining colony, Leela led a squad of human scouts. The Varnock attacked with overwhelming numbers and advanced weapons. Leila's squad was pinned down. Varnock warriors advanced, claws glowing. Leela stood, her metal legs humming. She looked at her squad and smiled. Time to show them why they fear. U.S. She charged forward. Faster than thought possible, she dodged lasers and blades. Her blade moved like lightning. Cutting through armor. She reached the Varnock leader and kicked him hard in the chest. He fell back. Stunned. The human surged forward, inspired by her courage. The battle turned. After the fight, the Varnock king sent a message to the humans. "You have a new weapon." His voice boomed through the galaxy. "But weapons can be broken." Leela heard the message. She stood with other survivors and said, "We are not just weapons. We are the future." The galaxy watched as humans rebuilt their strength. A girl with metal legs, running faster than light, became a symbol of hope and terror. The Varnock feared her. The galaxy learned to respect humanity, because the weapon the Varnock feared most was not a gun, not a ship, but the human spirit. The black void of space was silent, except for the hum of machines. The Varnock flagship, Dread Reaper, drifted near the edge of the Orion Nebula, its dark hull glowing faintly under distant stars. Inside, fear and anger mixed like poison. "General." Korthik paced the bridge. His sharp claws tapped the floor as he stared at the flickering hologram of Earth's defense fleets. "We lost another ship last night," a young officer reported. "The humans ambushed the Iron Fang. No survivors." Korthik growled. "Their numbers grow stronger. Their tactics evolve." "How is this possible?" His second-in-command, Telrek, spoke quietly. "They are not what we expected. The humans fight with more than weapons. They fight with will, with pain, with memory." Korthik slammed his claw down. "We cannot allow this nightmare to continue. We must end them, now." On Earth, Commander Rhea Voss watched the enemy movements with calm eyes. "They are desperate." She told her officers, "The Varnock know their power slipping." A technician interrupted. "Sensors detect heavy Varnock reinforcements near the nebula edge." Rhea nodded. "Then we prepare. The final battle begins." Her voice was steady, but strong. "All units, focus on disabling enemy command ships. Protect civilians. This is not just a war of weapons, but a war of survival. Deep inside the Dread Reaper, a dark chamber held the key to the Varnak's plans. A massive weapon, unlike any seen before, was being prepared. A device designed to crush minds, a nightmare made real. Korthak walked into the room, eyes glowing. "This is our final chance," he said. "Activate the neural disruptor." A Varnak scientist smiled coldly. "Soon, the humans will lose their minds. Their will break." Korthak's lips curled. "Good, let the nightmare fall." But the humans were ready. Hidden inside their command ship, Rhea monitored every move. "Neural disruptor detected," she said. "We cannot let it fire." Her strategist, a man named Darren, replied, "We need a strike team, fast and silent." Rhea looked at the map. "I will lead it." The mission was clear: infiltrate the Dread Reaper, destroy the neural disruptor, and capture Korthak. Rhea and her team entered a stealth shuttle. The engines whispered as they approached the massive ship. Inside, corridors twisted like a maze. Varnak guards patrolled with heavy steps. "Stay close," Rhea whispered. "No mistakes." Suddenly, a shadow moved. A Varnak soldier. Rhea raised her pulse rifle, but before she could fire, the soldier spoke in rough English. "Commander Voss?" Rhea froze. The soldier lowered his weapon. "I'm Telrock. I want to help." Telrock told them his story. He had begun to doubt the Varnak warlords. The destruction, the endless killing, it was wrong. He wanted peace. Rhea studied him. "Why trust you?" Telrock smiled sadly. "Because the nightmare is coming. And I want to stop it too." Together, they moved deeper. They reached the chamber where the neural disruptor was active. Guards swarmed in. A fierce battle broke out. Laser beams flashed. Rhea's team fought hard. Rhea ran to the control panel and began to disable the device. Korthak appeared, roaring with rage. "You will fail," he shouted. "The nightmare will fall upon your world." Rhea stood tall. "Not while I breathe." The fight turned personal. Korthak attacked with brutal strength, but Rhea dodged. Using speed and skill. Telrak helped, distracting the guards. With a final push, Rhea tore the control wires. The device sparked and died. Korthak screamed. In fury, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared. Self-destruct sequence activated. A voice announced, "We have minutes." Telrak shouted. Rhea grabbed Korthak, cuffing him. "We're leaving," she said. The team raced through corridors crumbling from explosions. Outside, their shuttle waited. They jumped in and blasted off as the Dread Reaper exploded in a fiery bloom behind them. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. The nightmare was over. Korthak, the cruel general, was captured. The neural disruptor destroyed. The Varnak lost their strongest weapon. Rhea's voice echoed through broadcasts. "This victory belongs to everyone who fought, to every survivor. We have shown the galaxy the power of the human spirit." In the stars, the Varnak Empire was shaken. Leaders whispered of change. Telrak was welcomed as a hero among humans, and some Varnak who wished for peace. The nightmare had fallen, but the war was a lesson. The galaxy knew. Now humanity was not to be feared because of weapons. They were feared because they never gave up. The galaxy had known only war. For centuries, the Varnak Empire ruled with fear. Planets obeyed. Species stayed silent. And when they resisted, they were erased. But now everything had changed. The Dread Reaper, the most feared Varnak ship, was destroyed. General Korthak, the leader of countless attacks, was in human custody. The neural disruptor, the Varnak's last weapon, had failed. And humans, the species once ignored and underestimated, had survived it all. But peace? No one believed peace could exist. Not in this galaxy. Until something strange happened. "Commander." Rhea Voss stood inside the Earth Defense Council chamber. The room was quiet. but tension hung in the air. Across from her sat leaders from every human nation, and beside her was something even more surprising. Telrak, a Varnak. He wore no armor now, no weapons. Just a simple black coat and a look of calm. "Let's begin," Rhea said. "We didn't destroy the Varnak Empire, but we broke its spine. And now, we have a chance." One general leaned forward. "You want peace with them?" Telrak answered softly, "Not all Varnak are monsters. Many of us never agreed with the war. We were forced, controlled, watched." Rhea nodded. "And now they're scared. They fear the same war they started." News spread across the stars. The humans were not seeking revenge. They were offering a deal. Peace. It shocked every planet. The Alari, the Kandar, the silent Shaylin all waited. Would the Varnak answer? On the shattered Varnak homeworld of Zader, leaders argued in secret chambers. "This is weakness," one snarled. But another, older Varnak, stood slowly. "No, this is survival. We thought the humans were prey. We were wrong. They are fire. And fire, if respected, can warm. Or destroy." 1 week later, something no one expected happened. A Varnak diplomat ship entered Earth's orbit, unarmed. Rhea stood watching from the control deck. "Are we ready?" asked Darren, her second dash command. Rhea gave a slow breath. "No, but we'll do it anyway." The meeting took place on a neutral moon, once a battlefield. Now it held a single structure, a peace dome. Inside, humans and Varnak sat across from each other. No guns, no armies. Just words. The Varnak ambassador spoke first. "We were wrong." "Silence," he continued. "We thought fear made us strong. But you. You fought with hope, unity, and rage. That's something we never understood." Rhea spoke next. "We want this war to end. No more weapons, no more children growing up in bunkers. We want to build." The Varnak nodded. "Then let us try." But peace was not easy. On both sides, many were angry. A group of human soldiers cornered Telrak after the meeting. "You think we forgot what your people did?" One spat. Telrak didn't raise his voice. "I know, I carry the same weight, but peace means facing that pain." The soldier stared at him, then slowly lowered his weapon. "You'd better be right." Even worse, some Varnak warlords refused. The treaty. In the far outer rim, a fleet known as the Crimson Teeth attacked a human outpost. Dozens died. Rhea slammed her hand on the table during the meeting. "We can't let them destroy this chance." The Varnak ambassador agreed. "Then allow us, we will deal with our own." What followed was a turning point. For the first time, Varnak ships joined human ones, side by side, to stop the rogue. Fleet. A battle lit up the stars. One human pilot, Jax Monroe, shouted over the comms, "Can't believe I'm flying next to a Varnak." A rough voice answered, "I feel the same, human. Just don't crash into me." They laughed and fought. And when the Crimson Teeth flagship exploded, every screen across the galaxy showed it. Something new had begun. The peace accord was signed. For the first time in galactic history, the war officially ended. Celebrations broke out. Cities lit up. Children danced in the streets of Earth and Zater. But for Rhea, something still felt heavy. She sat alone on a rooftop, watching stars blink in the sky. Telrak joined her. "You should be proud," he said. "I am," she replied. "But peace is just as dangerous as war. One mistake, and it all falls apart." Telrak nodded. "Then we protect it, together." Years passed. Trade routes opened. Joint academies trained soldiers from both species. Even mixed crews flew deep space. Missions. A human child on Mars asked his father, "What's a Varnak?" The father smiled. "Someone who used to scare us. Now they help us." But in the shadows, some still hated the peace. A small group, human and Varnak, whispered of revenge. They planned to sabotage the new alliance by attacking the peace. Dome itself. Rhea received the warning just in time. They're targeting the next summit, Darren said. They want to blame the Varnock, Rhea stood. Then we stop them. We won't let hate win. The trap was set during the summit. The traitors moved through the halls. One raised a weapon aiming at Telrak. Before he could fire, Rhea tackled him. A brief fight. Chaos. But the attackers were caught. One of them screamed, "This piece is a lie." Rhea looked down at him. "No, it's the truth we've bled for." The summit ended with a new law. Any threat to peace from any side would be treated as a crime against all. The galaxy had changed. Rhea and Telrak walked through the halls after the summit. "I never thought I'd see this," she said. "Neither did I," Telrak replied. "But now we must protect it, not with guns, with courage," Rhea smiled. "Let's make sure this peace lasts longer than the war ever did." And above them, the stars shined quietly. For the first time in memory, the galaxy was at peace. The stars remembered everything. They had witnessed countless wars, endless cries, light and fire, destruction and silence. But now the galaxy whispered a new name: humanity. No longer the weak, no longer the newcomers. They were something else. Now they were legend. Decades had passed since the last shot of the Great Galactic War. Humans and Varnock had built cities together. Ships flew with mixed crews. Children of both species laughed in the same playgrounds. But legends don't end with peace. They begin when peace is tested. And this time, it wouldn't come from weapons. It would come from something deeper, the unknown. Commander Rhea Voss, now Admiral Voss, stood aboard Earth's newest vessel, the Sentinel Horizon. It wasn't a warship. It was a frontier explorer, designed to go beyond known space. Far beyond, a Varnock scientist, Draco, stood beside her. His tendrils twitched with nervous energy. "Are you sure about this, Admiral?" he asked. Rhea smiled. "It's what we're made for. We don't wait for fear to find us. We go out there and shake its hand." The Sentinel Horizon jumped into deep space. No star maps. No rescue. Just dark silence and the pull of curiosity. But on the seventh day, something happened. Alarms rang. The stars outside flickered unnaturally. Gravity fields fluctuating. Someone shouted, "External readings are weight." There's nothing. The ship wasn't moving. It wasn't still either. It was just stuck. As if reality itself had grabbed it. Then the voice came. It was not a voice. Really more like a whisper inside every mind. "You should not be here." Rhea stood tall on the bridge. "We come in peace." The voice returned. Colder. "Peace is a lie told by the frightened. You bring the scent of war, rage, fire. You are humanity." "Yes," Rhea said. "We are." Silence. Then a strange light blinked into existence. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't anything known. It looked like a wound in space. And from it, they came. They had no form, no mass. Just shadows and shifting shapes. Even Draco, who had seen the worst of war, stepped back. "What are they?" he whispered. "I don't know," Rhea replied. "But they know us." The shadow creatures surrounded the ship. They did not attack. They watched. Then they spoke again. "Your kind is not ready. You bring balance, but also chaos. You fix worlds. But break laws of the stars." Rhea narrowed her eyes. "Then test us." Suddenly, the crew found themselves somewhere else. Not on the ship. But on Earth. Or something that looked like Earth. It was a memory. A battlefield. Rhea saw her younger self holding a broken rifle, standing over the bodies of her fallen squad. "You remember pain," the shadows said. Another memory. "The Varnock homeworld in flames. You remember wrath." Then Rhea alone, helping a wounded Varnock child, even as enemy fire rained down. "You also remember mercy." Each crew member faced their past, Some screamed, some cried, but all of them stood tall. Rhea looked straight into the swirling void and said, "Yes, we are all these things, but we choose what we become." Silence again, then the shadows shifted. "You may go." Just like that, they vanished. The Sentinel horizon was back in normal space, but something had changed. A mark, glowing faintly on the ship's hull. A symbol no one understood, yet every translator said the same. Worthy. News traveled fast. Humanity had met something older than the stars, and had not bowed. Instead of fear, the galaxy felt something else. Hope. If humans could face the void and return, maybe others could too. Rhea returned home to Earth a hero, but she felt something deeper stirring. It wasn't over. The shadows had let them go. For now, on the anniversary of the peace accord, Rhea spoke before the Galactic Council. Today, she said, "We are not just survivors, not just warriors. We are builders, seekers, dreamers. The galaxy is not something to fear, it's something to understand." She looked around at the thousands gathered humans. Varnak, Ilari, Kandor, and more. "And we will face the unknown together. That is our strength. That is our legend." And the legend spread. Children were taught about Earth, not as a place of war, but as the first world to stand up against the impossible. Stories were told of the smiling prisoner, the weapon the Varnak feared, and the fall of the nightmare. But the most powerful story was of a single, human woman who faced the shadows beyond the stars. Anne smiled back. Years later, deep in the archives of an alien world, a child asked an elder, "Did the humans really come from a small blue planet?" The elder chuckled. "Yes, and from that tiny world, they changed everything." The child looked up at the sky. "Will we ever be like them?" The elder smiled. "Only if we remember one thing." "What?" "That being human doesn't mean being perfect. It means never giving up." Somewhere far beyond the edges of known space, the shadows stirred again. They remembered the humans, not as enemies, not as children, but as the first species to walk into the dark and demand to be seen. And so the legend of humanity began. Not in fire. Not in war, but in the silence between stars where courage speaks louder than fear, and where hope lights the way forward.